Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. Alright, so we are going to do another situation and a fix for this situation if you guys have it. It's essentially a slow crank, but it does start. And I wouldn't say it's a weak crank, but it's more of a slow crank, but it will start. This is one of these situations that's kind of a little bit on the odd end, because normally if you have a slow crank, it's synonymous with a weak crank, and normally you get a no start situation. Sometimes you get a start situation, but this is one of those situations where you could get, and it would happen sporadically. Sometimes it would be something that is a little bit difficult to figure out, but it happens sporadically, and you could start your car for months on end like this without having to resolve the problem. But at some point you probably get into one of these instances where this problem becomes something worse, where you get a no crank no start issue, or a crank no start issue, or a very slow crank no start issue, and it essentially could be caused by a couple of things, and we're just going to go into what it could be caused by if you happen to have this particular situation. First of all, what you guys want to look at in this situation is, you want to make sure that your battery is good. All right, obviously a weak battery, a bad battery, is going to cause a situation where you're not going to get enough power to the starter to crank the way it's supposed to normally crank. Instead, you're going to get a weak slow crank, or no crank, or it'll try to crank and then it won't start up. So the battery is very important. You really want to get the right size battery, and in most cases, in a lot of cases, if you could actually fit a bigger battery in there, you probably should fit a bigger battery in there. Trust me, I've put bigger batteries in my cars without a problem, because some of these batteries are very small these days, because they have like so many things, particularly if you have your battery in the front compartment under the hood. There's just so many things under there that they try to fit a battery that's just enough to get your starter started. But you definitely want to make sure that you check your voltage, make sure that your voltage is correct, make sure that your battery is the right battery, make sure your battery is good. Normally batteries go out after 3 to 4 years. So that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to check your battery, make sure the battery is good. Get a new battery if you guys have to. All right. Second thing, what you guys want to do is you guys want to check your ground cables. But before that, you guys want to check your terminals. A lot of people miss out that on the terminals, if the terminals are dirty, if the terminals are weak, or are dirty, or if the terminals are loose. All right, dirty or loose terminals, or dirty and loose terminals, will cause contact issue with your car, your wires, and the battery itself. And it doesn't really take that much. Actually, it does actually take a lot, but a lot of people have a lot of corrosion on the terminals in these situations, where it causes enough of an issue where you're gonna have a no crank no start issue, a crank no start issue, and the battery might be fine, everything else might be fine, but not getting enough electricity to your car is going to cause a lot of electrical issues, particularly a slow crank issue. All right, so that's the second thing. Third thing you want to do is make sure that your ground cables are good. All right, you want to make sure that the ground cables are good. Normally the negative line that connects your battery, that's the ground cable. Normally it's connected to the frame of your car. Normally there's there's multiple sections where it connects to. Sometimes it's connected to, like, a lot of times you'll have one connection, it'll be right around that general area where the battery is connected to the frame of the vehicle. Other times there'll be a line running from the the negative to the block of the engine, sometimes to the subframe, sometimes to the frame, to another part of the frame. So you definitely want to make sure that your ground cables, the where it's connected to, is clean, it's free of rust, there's enough of a contact point between the cable itself and the frame. All right, gotta check that. Third of all, was that 3 or 4? Fourth of all, you want to make sure that the starter is good. All right, you want to make sure that the starter is good, because particularly if older vehicles, a start's about to go out, bad start's about to go out, will cause issues as far as slow crank, sporadic slow cranking, weak crank, no start. So you want to make sure the starter is good, particularly if your starter is in the intake. If you're under the intake, I mean, if your starter is under the intake, you definitely want to just make sure that the wiring is good, because there's a lot of heat in that general area, and that heat could cause a lot of issues with burnt wires, wires being damaged, a lot of different issues that could arise as a result of the heat. The heat could actually damage the starter itself. So you guys want to check that. And outside of that, you guys want to also maybe check the fuel pump relay. But to be honest with you, if it's just a slow crank, it probably won't be the fuel pump or the fuel pump relay, but a slow start anyway. It won't be a fuel pump or a fuel pump relay. But you might want to just check out all your fuses and check out all your relays, just to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to work. And these days, a lot of these components are actually interconnected together. And you guys have an EFI relay, you guys might want to check that out too. The fuel pump EFI relay is essentially if your car does have an EFI relay, it's essentially part of the fuel pump system. But in any case, if you guys are in this situation, there's a couple of things to troubleshoot as far as the situation is concerned. Many times in these slow crank start situations, you won't have a check engine light to actually check out. Normally you won't have a check engine light to actually check out. It's normally part of either the electrical system, the starter itself, wires that's connected, that is associated with the electrical system. For the most part, it could be connected to maybe a blown relay, a blown fuse, or a damaged relay. But those are very, very, very easy to check. Anyway, if you guys have your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. It might help somebody else out. You guys have a question, leave a question in the comment section. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Right, guys, take care.